going to the bathroom, clean up your hair, sanitation. You have to have 2 forms of ID. One has to have your picture on it, your current driver's license. Even if it's expired, it still works as a ID. If you do have to go to the bathroom, they keep going to the test. You just got to come back. So pee before you go. If there's this many people in there, it's a 5-6 hour test. And we're going to start with the barber section because they always start with the barber section even if there's one barber there. So we'll go that way. You have to be able to adapt though. If there's no barbers there, they might start with the cosmetology part of it. So then you start with the curling iron stuff. So we'll go through from the barber part of it and talk our way through it. We're not going to do everything here. I'm just going to give you a feeling of what they're watching for. You've done this all year in school. You've done the stuff they're trying to test you on in school. The facial stuff, we've got that down now. We understand what they want because they want all sorts of crazy stuff that they test estheticians on. So that's what they're testing you on. We know how to do the barber thing now with all the sanitation. It's about the sanitation. Everything's about the sanitation. Always sanitize your hands. It has to be a real sanitizer, okay? And don't overuse it. Pull your hair back, clean it up, don't touch your face. If you touch your face, you remember you're standing back for some deal and you touch your face like that. Before you do anything else, you step up and clean your hands. So they see that. Now, if there's 7 of you, I know how 2 people watches it. Some things are done individually. The shave's done individually, the facial's done individually, something else. But we'll go through this so we understand. If you haven't run this off, this is the exact test. I gave you the form right there. You can go run it off and you go right through and check these things off as you go. Everything's an assumption. You get a yes or no on a task when you do it. So we'll go through that today. We'll start with the barbering part of it. And we'll go through my notes. I got them written down here. And I think I've got them figured out just perfect. And now the rest's up to you. And if you don't pass it, reschedule. Jump right back on and reschedule it. Don't wait. Clean your kid up and reschedule. Abby took it 3 times. The 3rd time she passed because she didn't come to my class. She went up north and took the class up there and said, well, she comes down here and goes, oh, that's not what they're teaching me up there. Well, okay, hey, and she passed it. So there's whatever. Casey's still trying to do the barbering. Hasn't taken my class.
She's taking it again on Friday.
Yeah, you haven't been in my class.
I finally had to put my foot down and basically nab the kit from her.
Yeah, well, you guys buy that together?
Yeah, me, Casey, and Melissa went into it.
Okay. We have to get all the pleasantries done, great, and then going through what we're doing. So when you walk in, the first thing you do, and you can carry your stand in, and you can carry your mannequins in. You can set your mannequins on the floor when you're setting up. So you come into your kit, you put the kit on the floor, that means now we've got to make this thing sanitary to clean it off with. You only go into this kit when you need it. You can't go back, you can go back into it, but you can't put anything back in it. That's a big no-no too. If you start to pull something out and go, oh, that's the wrong thing, pull it out and set it on the table. It's in a bag. The bag is assumed sanitary. You put it back in, go, oh, okay, you just open up it, you just disinfect it. Okay, so this is what we're going to read to you. You prepare your work area, you get points for this. You prepare your work area for your client. This is barbering. You'll set up the universal supplies you'll be using throughout the examination. That's the key throughout the examination. Whatever you're going to be using the whole examination, stay on the table, but there's steps you have to take. You also set up the supplies for hair cutting section of the examination. You'll prepare your client for services. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You got 10 minutes to do this, and they time you. You'll be informed you have 5 minutes remaining. Do not demonstrate any procedures until the verbal instructions are given or you are instructed to begin. Then step back to indicate you have finished. Now remember, you're also set up supplies for haircut section of this examination. So that means you're going to set everything up, clean the table up, get out, get your mannequin draped, and get it ready for your haircut. Then step back. Some kids forget to do that. They say, okay, now, and this is how they grade you. Disinfects all work areas completely in product labeled in English, EPA registered. Sanitize hand and product labeled in English, universal supplies labeled in English. Items to be disinfected, soil, linens, and trash. That's your 3 bins. And they have to be labeled so you can see them. So let's go that far. Go ahead and set your stuff up and let's see what you got and we'll go through it. one side of the table, one of you use the other side of the table for your setting up your 3 deals. So you're at the end, you're on this side. So you set your trash on one side, the other set the trash on the other side. Oh yeah, first thing you do, you wipe that table off or put anything on it. You pull your mannequin out, and when you pull something out of your case, you've got to put the lid back on. So you should have one bag that says universal supplies and barbering. Boom! It's all there in one bag. Put the lid back on, slide it under there.
So you don't want your barbering and your universal supplies in case they don't start with barbering, right?
Correct. So if you got, but you got to have universal supplies for both of them. You're right. That's right. We're just assuming they're going to start with barbering, so that's where they should start. Okay, now here's the key thing. I want you to take stuff out. If you go in and pull something out, you got to clean your hands before you go back in again. That's a big deal. So that's why if you have one bag with universal supplies, you pull that bag out, you clean your table off, you get everything going. Okay, I'm going back in to get my barbering stuff. I clean my hands, back in I go. This stuff is sanitary in there. It's about cleaning your hands. You don't need to you face pump it today. You don't run out of this stuff.
So
Lid has to go back on and it slides under the table.
we're ready for that.
It goes in the trash. Not today though. You throw it in the trash today, but seal those bags you throw in the trash, and when you dump all your hair and stuff in there, they won't get in the bag. You do have to have real trash bags in your bag. So these things right here have to have liners on them. They all of them do. Here's the reason why. If the wet towel or something seeps out on the floor to that deal, it's not a safe area now. And so they're going to make you, if you don't clean it up, that's a sanitized deal. So you need to have inserts into those. And make sure you put them in them. That way when you pull your trash bag out, you just go get rid of it. Your plastic one you have to dig out of it, but so slide it under the table. Now what do we do? What would you do? Now, take your hands, pick that up, take the 3, 4 rock deals off and rip them off, throw them away. You don't need to do that today, but that's what you need. So you've got all this table. You got a table close to here. Use the whole table. You get half the table. Use half the table. Don't pile it all right here. Use half the table.
So should we do this and
First thing, very first thing. Open up, get that wipe out, and wipe it off. The wipe doesn't have to be in your supply. Just pull it out. Wipe the whole thing off, set it on the table to pull everything else out. Your trash can stuff. Then make sure you throw it in the trash to wipe. You don't need to cover anymore. No more puppy pads. Prepare your work area for your client. You'll set up the universal supplies throughout the examination. You'll also set up supplies for hair cutting section examination, which means the mannequin grade.
So where do you put your scissors in your kit?
You can bring them in your little case if you want.
Like, Should it be universal? Should they be universal supplies?
Well,
or-
if you're gonna put them in the barber kit and you do the barber, if you don't do the barbering first, you can still find them in your kit. Pull your barber kit out when it's time to haircut in the cosmetology. Pull it out, pull the shears out, and leave that kit out and just keep it sealed.
Or could you just have it in a separate bag?
You can,
Pull it out?
absolutely. Yeah. You just have to assume you're doing the barbering first. Okay, so you guys have a towel in there?
No.
Okay, you can't touch the neck. Has to be like this. You gotta have a towel, not an extra, use a towel. Now what I did in my kit, I showed the students, I took the towel like this, and I put a piece of Velcro on it. So when I wrapped it around the head, the Velcro attached and just stayed there, perfect. You just get the tape on Velcro, it's perfect. You just tape it on, you don't have to worry about holding it up in the towel. And I use a white towel so you can see that the neck is covered. So there's nothing touching the neck. So it's important that you break that way. So if this is your barbering, you'd be using a short-haired mannequin. You'd be using your 4-inch mannequin and your 6-inch mannequins for your cosmetology part. So when you're done, so you're assuming this is your mirror right here, your mirror right here, and right here, you'd step back when you're all done and just wait for them to begin. So stepping back, we show them, okay, they're ready to go. So when you do that, make sure that's touching the neck. That's a sanitation deal. Really make sure they can see that towel. All right. Did everybody disinfect their work table first? Hopefully. Very first thing you do. So your deal should be lids on and should be under your table. Make sure the lid is all the way on. Another sanitation thing, remember, they consider everything in the kit sanitary until you get into it. Before you go back into it, you sanitize your hands. Okay, that's what we do. All right, disinfect work area, that's a point. Sanitize hands, product labeling, that's a point. If they don't see you do it, they have to assume you did it. Okay, but how do you know? There's two watching you. One on the computer who's not paying attention might be watching anyway, also. Everything's labeled in English. I have disinfected, so you got that all right. Those points are there. All right, let me move into the haircut. Perform a tapered haircut with no block lines at the nape. You'll demonstrate a clipper cutting with and without a guard or detachable blades. You'll demonstrate use of shear over comb. You'll demonstrate fingers and shear cutting. You'll cut at least a ½ inch of hair throughout the haircut. You'll be expected to complete and blend the haircut. You'll also be expected to shave both sides of the neck with the straight razor. Do not remove your hair clippings from the floor area, the work area, until you are instructed by the examiner to do so. You'll be expected to follow climate protection, safety, infection procedures. You have 40 minutes to complete this section. You'll be told you have 20 minutes remaining, and then read it to you again. So, we're going to do a haircut. We're going to do a man's faded haircut, and it doesn't matter where you start, what your order is. It's up to you, however you're most comfortable. I would just cut with shears first. Shear over fingers, get a haircut, get it down to 3 inches all over, the most of the hair on the floor. And then you have to use, in the back, you have to use your comb. Make sure your comb's clean. Use your comb and clipper in the back. Fade that up. Let's go around and fade that up. Okay? Put number 1 or number 2 on, whatever you use, and from the bridle ridge, go up and fade that in. That's the things they need to see. Clipper over comb, cutting with your fingers, that you use clipper with a guard on it. Once you've done those, you achieve those points, then finish your haircut any way you want. Taper it in, get it done, make it look good. But I like to go through the shears first and get rid of most of this hair. Let's get rid of it. It's in the way. You're a nervous wreck anyway. The fact they start with the haircut is just nerve-wracking. The cosmetology start out with the curling iron, which is not basic, so it's easy to do. So do your basic haircut the way you learn. You're going to see somebody cutting hair some way different. Who cares? different roads that go to Salt Lake, they all get there. Same thing here. Doesn't matter where you start. So whatever you're comfortable with, start there. I just like to get all this hair gone and before I pull the clippers out. Then just do a nice tapered haircut. Doesn't have to be bald fade. Make sure the bottom's clean. You check the sides. Make sure it's clean around the ears. And then comes the shaving in the back. This is a new one. Well, I've been doing it for 6 months. Let me grab a mannequin.
Can you reschedule it? Is that an option?
You can take it.
How many are you sure this one? Have you tried? You've tried? This one was Mary, and she said something
This is my recommendation. That during the haircut, in both of them, that you put a razor, now if you're doing the barber thing, you put a razor in a gel in with the haircut also.
and with the barber.
In the barbering part of it. Now, if you only can use one razor, okay, just when you get your razor done with this part of it, you take your sanitary wipe, you wipe the razor off, wrap it up, set it on the table. It's clean, you can use it for the shave. Okay? Here's the deal. This is one client, the shave is the second client. Everything has to be redone. We'll talk about it here in a second. So the big thing with the razor is that the razor blade, when you do this, faces away from the ear. Okay? So when you do the razor over here, this is my razor, I'm doing the backhand stroke right here, right there, and freehand stroke over here, right here, right here. Just you want to put the shaving cream on, or the shaving gel, whatever you're using. Remember, that's the way to remember, the blade faces away from the ear. So backhand over here, you got to make one stroke. You don't got to sit and do the barber thing. Just make a stroke, make a stroke. Okay? While sitting there, grab your sanitizer thing, wipe it off, put your razor down, get your cotton, wipe that off, and put a toner on. You got to put a toner and a powder on. So the powder you can use in your barbering and your shave, and the powder you can use has to go on here also. So you wipe it off the toner, trash. Get your powder, put a little on your ball, and put it like this. Go buy a little powder at Target. They sell a little deal of powder. Baby powder's fine. And then just put a label on it, powder. Just put a label right over it, it says powder.
You have to hold on your neck finger.
Yeah, just hold the neck. Just look like you're doing it. Hold the neck, come this way. Down here, same thing, hold the neck, come this way, this way. You're done. You clean that all up. And then put the toner on it and the powder. And then you're done with the haircut. That's the very last thing you do. Don't forget this step. The last thing you have to do.
So do you want to pull your shave stuff out during the
I
haircut?
say put them in the haircut and put some in your shave. You don't have to mess with that.
Okay, put them in full.
Yeah.
Because you don't want to take all of
You don't want to look, yeah. Yeah, I just don't, I don't. It's up to you. You don't have to. To me, that's easier. If I pull my haircut and stuff out, I get everything for the haircut, I'm not worried about finding my shave stuff.
And so
Okay.
then when you do the neck, you put gel on it
Yeah,
and shave it.
yeah.
And then cleanse,
Don't need to cleanse it, just need a toner, wipe it off.
toner, powder.
Yep.
How do you like apply powder?
With a towel, with a cotton ball. Put a little bit on it and put it on.
Does the gel have to say gel or can it just say like cement?
Shave gel. You say shave cream or shave gel, whatever. It has to be labeled. Make sure it's labeled that way. And then just do a haircut. Okay? Just do it what you've been doing for a year. Just do a haircut.
You need to go through with like the peanut and like.
No, you don't need a peanut. All you gotta do is clean up around the ears like this. You can't make a block line, so there's not a block line there. It's got a V in it. So just clean it up. Clean it up. Make sure it blends. Got the top off. This is acceptable right here. Okay. So this is what they're looking for. Wish I could turn that off. I can't. Haircut and supplies are labeled in English. Look, you get a point just for writing it in English. Implements and supplies are visibly clean. If you go up there with shears and they're dirty, that's on you. Make sure they're clean. If you take them in a case, make sure the case is clean. Do you have to use your mannequin shears? No. I was just telling Taylor, the reason we don't do mannequin shears because you can do so many haircuts when you first started school on a mannequin. That's why you put those cheap shears in. So you're not getting your first one, your good one's dull. And 1 or 2 haircuts on a mannequin with your good shears isn't going to affect your blade. So take your best weaponry there. Perform scalp analysis. This is what I always forget. So when you're doing this, just run your fingers through the hair before you start. You're going to do a scalp analysis. Like that, you're done. You do an analysis. Now just get your stuff to do your haircut. I always forget that part. That's a new one. If you forget it, you won't fail, but try and remember that. Demonstrate safe use of the clippers and the comb with the guard and detachable blade. Clippers and guard, detachable blade. Demonstrate safe use of the comb and shears. Establish an outline around the ears. Shave sides of the neck using the straight razor to include reverse backhand. Reverse backhand stroke. Never points away from the ear. Okay, hair in front of the ear is uniform in length. Haircut blend without weight line. At least ½ inch of hair throughout the haircut. Moves hair from the work area when you clean up. So they get that part, they say, please stop working. Please do nothing until the next verbal instruction is given. Then they say to you, may I please have your comb to check your haircut. So you have your comb in your hand, you just hand it to them. Yeah, whatever comb you're using. So when you get done cutting, just step back. Okay? If you set your comb down, you're still on this client, it's okay, because this clean area is for this client. So you just pick the comb, hand it to the examiner. I say hold it in your hand and give it to them. They'll go through, they make sure the top's even, the sides are even, you take your haircut. It's not as bad as they do in the cosmetology, they go through everything. Because they're looking at a haircut like this. Not a big deal. Questions? Okay, so they're going to tell you, please clean up your hair at this time. Upon completion, please do nothing until the next verbal instructions are given. So remove hair from the work area. If you get it on the table, you got to re-sanitize the table. You're going to have to do that anyways. Maintain straight throughout the section. Items disinfect soil and trash. Okay. They provide you brooms and dustpans. The hair goes in your trash can, not theirs. It's got to go in your trash can. You dump it in. If there's hair on the floor, take a wipe, go down there and clean them up. So if you're using a kit that's been used before, make sure it's not empty. Make sure you have wipes. All right. So like those barbed side wipes, make sure you have them all in there. And clean the floor up. And then you're ready. You wait till they tell you to move on. Okay, you'll break down your work area and dispose of supplies used in the previous section of examination. You prepare your work area for a new client. Here's the key, okay? You'll set up your universal supplies you'll use for the remainder of the examination. You also set the supplies for shaving with the straight razor section of examination. You prepare your client for a shave. You expect to follow client protection. You have 15 minutes to do this. You perform, have 8 minutes to read it to you again. So you have to break your station down. Anything left on this table that you're going to use with the next client needs to be disinfected. Okay? So you're going to use the same mannequin. This is gone. A new drape. Okay? So you clean your hands. You break this down first. You clean your hands, break this down. Anything you're leaving, you take a sanitary wipe and wipe them off, leave them on the table. Okay? Then you clean your hands, go in and you pull out your shaving stuff. You get your shaving stuff up, redrape. The new client. This has all been cleaned. Okay, this is all clean. You got to clean this off. You got to clean this off. You got to clean this off. This has to be wiped off. It all has to be wiped off. If you're leaving this stuff out there, it's got to be wiped off. Anything left on your table is okay to stay there. Just wipe it off. They're knocking kids down in sanitation because they weren't doing that. That was something I learned in that class. So that's when you do that. So go ahead and let's get ready for the shave. You may begin. What?
Can you use the same drape if you have a couple different drapes?
You need 4 drapes. You need 4 drapes. And remember, the drapes cannot touch the floor. If they touch the floor, you can dock for it. So you should take your capes, fold them in half, and duct tape them in half. You can use kids' capes, that's okay. Go buy a bunch of kids' capes. When in doubt, always sanitize your hands. Just go right back in there and sanitize your hands. So if you don't have a cape today, leave this one on. But you need to make sure. And this is another way. This is all about the packaging. Packaging, bar supplies, that stuff should all be in there. You pull that out, there's no guessing, no going back into your cape, any of that kind of stuff. You have everything ready to go.
Can you put your hands in your pockets to hold this?
I don't know. Nobody ever asked that question. Right, it's not a go to your thumb, I guess. I don't know.
Did they care what kind of tapes you use? Let's say you got tapes.
The only cape that they check on is the chemical cape.
Okay, so you could use like
Yeah.
one of the kids.
Yeah. Only been touched before. All right. Disinfect all work areas, and here's your points for this section. Disinfect the whole work area. Sanitize hands with product labeled in English. Universal supplies labeled in English. Items be disinfected. Items so let them stay. Okay. So you keep getting points for having those. So you should pick up 2 points for that, or a point whatever. All right. Everybody stop working. Everybody's ready. This is the shave. You will prepare to form a shave with straight razor. Prepare the model's face by lathering and steaming. Do not remove the steam towel until instructed to do so by the examiner. That's key. You'll be expected to follow plant protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You have 5 minutes to complete this section. You'll be informed you're ready when you have 2 minutes remaining. Do not demonstrate any procedure until the verbal instructions are given and you're instructed to begin. That throws a lot of kids off. Because, oh, I'm not supposed to demonstrate anything. Yeah, you are. You're supposed to demonstrate lathering and softening with a heated towel. So once I tell you to begin, you get your mannequin back there, you clean your hands off, and you begin with the lathering. So you get the lather on, and make sure if you use it, these stands got a little thing where it lays back for you. So you get it back there. Okay? So you're going to lather it, and then you're going to steam it, and then you're going to step back. So let's go through that. What's that? You should have 3 towels that are wet. So the morning you go to the test, write this down, get 3 towels wet, roll them up so they're wet, and stick them in a bag. So this goes in the shave bag. You don't need to do the hot towel in the back of the neck when you're shaving for the haircut. Kids ask me that, you don't need to. So the good news is you only have to do 5 strokes. You don't have to do the whole thing. Somebody's going, you gotta be kidding. We learned 14 strokes for nothing. Well, they just changed that in November. Okay, so this is the same thing you did on your advanced test. All right, you cannot take shave cream in a can. They've never blown up ever, but they don't want them to blow up. Ever, they don't blow up on the shelves ever, but we don't want them blown up. Done. Anyway, so you're gonna have your shaving gel. Now, what do you have with that gel? How am I gonna eat that out of there? With a spatula. If you have to remember, just take the spatula to the top of this. But you got to get in there twice. Okay? So you take the spatula, and our hands are sanitized, disinfected. We take the spatula and put the shaving cream on the back of our hand just like doing the facial. Here's what they're looking for. So when you're putting this on, you're doing it in circular motions. Now, you've got to remember, you got to do the whole face, every place you shave. A lot of times kids forget about number 12. It's under there. You're not going to shave 12, but they need to see shaving gel under there. So you put that on, and you put it in circular motions. Do the nose, underneath the nose last. And then use your little finger and get it on there. If it gets inside the nose, unsanitary. Or on the lips, unsanitary. So just get it on there. Everything's in circular motions. You put it on. Just keep going. Now you take out your towel, you sanitize your hands, take your towel, you squeeze it over the trash, you go to your trash. Don't squeeze it to a drip, just twist it. Test it on my wrist and put it on the mannequin. We fold it in half. You want to do that? Go ahead. Fold it in half. It's got to cover though, so So you have to go a long way. That's a little towel. Up underneath the nose. That's where you want it to lay back. Oh, how does she do that? Because now you're supposed to leave the towel on.
I think there's bigger towels.
Okay. So once you've done this part of it, get back there, lady. The towel's got to stay on the face, and you step back while you're waiting for everybody. Then they'll come to you individually. If you're number 1, 2, 3, there's 7 spots. Number 1 always goes first. So that's your first time. So don't get confused with what they're saying to you. When you're ready for this, you've cleaned this all up, you've lathered, and you've got a softening, then step back. So everybody's standing back like this. This is where people are touching their face and stuff, nervous. Clean your hands. So then they'll come over to you, so they're checking to make sure. Shaving supplies are labeled in English. Sets of implants that are visibly clean. Lavender is the beard and mustache area. Steam towels applied. Now, you're going to shave. So this is where you put your gloves on. You never required gloves before, but now they require gloves. Okay? So you've got to figure out a way to have those gloves on the table so you remember them.
Did you put them in your universal supply?
I put them in with the shaving stuff. So when you pull it all out, they're laying on the table. Oh, there's my gloves. Okay?
But you don't need gloves when you're straight raising the neck?
Nope. Just shave. Okay. When they say to you, demonstrate the shave, what are you going to do first? Put your gloves on in your hand, and you can disinfect your gloves. Where disinfect your gloves? All right. It doesn't have to all the way come off. So this is what they're watching for. I never knew this. When you take this off, when you pull this down, take this off, just wipe it off. Doesn't have to all the way come off. They don't want you scrubbing. That's irritating the skin. Who the hell knew? Right? Just wipe it off. Nice soft top. Doesn't have to come all the way up. Get rid of that. Where'd it go? Right there. Okay, then you relather. You clean your hands and you stick out. Remember, you throw your first stick away. Once you use it on your hands, it's got to go in the trash. Put that on your hand, relather, and then you demonstrate the shave. So, when you first started school, I showed you to do the shave by following it because they didn't want you to have shaving cream on your hold hand. So what's the purpose of the hold hand? They don't want shaving cream on. These guys are okay. So hold it. There's your stroke. Boom. Wipe this off on a towel. Hold it. Backhand. Wipe it off on a towel. Hold it. Right there. Wipe that off on a towel. Number 4, right there. Wipe it off on a towel. Number 5, like that. Wipe it off on a towel. You're done.
Do you have your towel on?
No, on the table. They used to let you do it on the arm, they don't. So you do your 5 strokes, and then they say, okay, then you step back. If you have shaving cream on your hand, just take a wipe, wipe it off. Just some paper towel, wipe it off, disinfect your hands, and step back. Then you go to her, and then you go to her, and go to her, and go to here, her. Questions? 1 through 5. Isn't that easier?
So if you
They just want to see 3 strokes.
you put it on your hand and put it on, and then right after that, can you wipe it off with a paper towel?
Of course. Then just disinfect your hand. It's all about whatever you do here, before you get between here and here, wash your hands. You can't sanitize your hands enough. Okay. Everybody's okay to shave, right? We did enough of those. Everybody should be fine. If you don't know the first 5 strokes, make sure I show you how. I don't want it for you.
Should we take it out of his face beforehand?
What? No, that's what she tells you. So I would have this stuff gone. I would have a razor blade in there. I wouldn't have a cutting. I'd have that gone. I'd have it sliced up. But if you're I wouldn't even have to shave. This is all sanitary. Just have it in your sack.
It doesn't have to have the blade.
No blade. Just like we've been doing in school. Okay, so here comes the next instruction. Everybody's done the shave. Okay? And it sucks to be number 1 because everybody's watching you. They tell you not to look around, but they're all watching. Okay? The shave is all about confidence. You got to know 5 strokes. Know those things in your sleep. I can do these 5 strokes. When you act like you know what you're doing, you get up here and go, No, just shave that thing, get it done. Know what strokes. Don't be, oh, is this the backhand? No, know it. There's no excuse for not knowing 5 strokes. Okay, everybody's done. This is what they read to you. You'll perform a shaving with a straight razor. You expect following. Okay, we did all that. It's an untimed section. Do not remove the steam towel or demonstrate any strokes until instructed introduced by the examiner to do so. The instructions will be repeated. Okay, so they're doing this. You remove the lather with the steam towel. You get points for lather, the beard, and mustache. Demonstrates the freehand stroke in areas 1, 3, and 4. The backhand stroke in 2, and the reverse freehand in 5. That's all they're looking for. You got to do 5 strokes. You got to do them right. They're all worth a point. You get a yes or a no. Make sure you're doing the right way. Please do nothing until the next verbal instructions are given. All examiners have indicated they're are ready to proceed. Now listen. Do not demonstrate any additional shaving strokes. You will perform the finishing steps of the service. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, infection control procedures. You have 5 minutes to complete the section. You'll be warned you have 2 minutes remaining. You may begin. What's the next step? What? You sanitize your gloves. We're testing the towel. Put it on. Put the towel on. Step back. Step up. This one you get all the stuff off. Light touch. Get most of it off. Go right there. What's the first thing? What are you putting on your face now? Toner. So put the toner on. Put the toner all on there. And then what? Moisturizer. And then what? The powder. So the moisturizer, let me make sure. I think the moisturizer has been taken out and just the powder. Okay, demonstrates additional shaving stroke. Let's see, demonstrate, completes the shaving service, maintains drape throughout the section, items to be disinfected, soil, and soap. Instead of doing the moisturizer, that's for the facial, you just do the toner and then the powder. So you just have a powder, you just have the same powder, just put it and just pat around them, right where you shave. Don't do it up here. You just shave the forehead. Just put the powder on. Yeah, they used to put a moisturizer and they changed the powder.
You just put it on the one side and you shave.
I do the whole face. Because they're assuming that you shaved everything now. They want you to complete the shave without doing any more strokes. All right, where's your questions? What are your questions?
This kit might just be wrong, but it has cleanser cream.
Cleansing cream? You don't need that for the shave. That goes for the facial. Okay, so there's a barber in the room at this point. They make him do his blood spill. You guys just sit. They do the blood spill for the barber. Thanks, barber, you're gone. And now we jump into the cosmetology part of it.
So they don't have us do our blood spill?
No, they do it in order. So the barber does the blood spill, and then the barber is out the door. And they move the cosmetology part. And then we go into this. So, all right. Things that are universal supplies is this kit. Your water stays out here. Anything else you can leave out here is fine. You prepare your work area for your client. You set up universal supplies throughout the examination. You also have to set up supplies for the following sections: thermal cutting and hair cutting. So what happens to this mannequin? Goes away. Just throw it in the trash.
In the trash?
Yeah, throw it in the trash. I don't know what else to do with it. I don't know what else, where to put it. They're close. Yeah, they're right here. Check them out. I don't think, maybe you can put it on to be disinfected. I don't know what to do with it. Maybe you set it on the floor. They told you to set the mannequin on the floor. I know some kids are throwing it in the trash, but let's get this right on here.
So do we do, so we do 2 different haircuts? So
Yeah.
we do the barbering haircut and then we do
The cosmetology one. Okay, so the barbering's all done. Now we got to prepare for a new client. Anything you leave out here has to be wiped off. Finally, leave it out here. Now, if it's in a bag, If you've got stuff in a bag like this, leave it out there, you know, wipe the bag off. If there's something still in your bag, wipe the bag off. You can't use spray disinfectant because it's bad in the air. So you have to use a wipe. Okay, so if you read this, prepare client, you also set up your supplies for the following sections of the examination: thermal curling and hair cutting. Okay, if your hair cutting supplies are still out there for the barbering, that's fine. I'm going to show you how to take care of this. Leave them in the case, wipe the case off. Okay? And we'll go from there. You prepare your client for service. You expect to follow client safety procedure. You have 15 minutes to do this. You only have 8 minutes remaining. So when you're cleaning up, you're re-disinfecting. Remember, new client, new work area. Gotta be clean. Okay?
So there's stuff you're done with, you want to wipe it down before you put it back in?
You don't put nothing back in there.
So
If it's going to stay on the table, you wipe it off and leave it there. If you don't need it, it goes in one of those deals right there. Now, anything to be soil linens and all your towels and capes and stuff. Item disinfection can be anything else. None of this is considered a one-use item. It can go right into that stuff and be disinfected. So you probably throw your mannequin disinfected.
put your whole barbering, shaving bag in the disinfection.
Sure, throw it in. It should be fine. Yeah, it should be fine. Okay. Disinfect work area, hospital grade disinfecting, sanitize hands, universal supplies, linen base, items to be disinfected, so linens, trash, disposed of correctly, boom, you're ready to go. Questions? Alright, keep cleaning your hands. Alright, so here's the preparation for the thermal curling. So your mannequin is a 6-inch mannequin. 5 at the very least. Okay, don't go any shorter than 5. You have to pre-curl it before you go to the exam. So the night before, blow that hair straight, get nice and straight, and put 2 curls on the top and 2 curls on the side, and pin them. Make sure you curl them on base, pin them up, and let them sit overnight. Okay? With the curling iron, you're going to take the test. Use that same curling iron. When you go to the test, you take the pins out and just mess it up. And you know it's there. If you use a cold iron at this test, it's stupid, but so you have to have some curls in it. So you have to blow this hair out straight that night, and then curl them and put them in. You have the curls to go. All right. So you perform the thermal curling. You perform 2 curls at the top of the head and 2 curls on one side of the head. Complete the curl must be formed from the base to the ends. You be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and effective procedures. You have 10 minutes to complete this section. You're told you have 5 minutes remaining. Questions about this part?
Do they just want to see like what they call?
So you have to take a curling iron that works. You're not going to plug it in. It has to have a cord on it. They want the cord unwrapped, so you see how you do. You don't drag it over the face. So you're going to come. The first thing you do with that iron, when you set the iron down, it's got to be on its stand. It's hot. We have to assume that it's hot, so it's on the stand. All right. What's the first thing you do with that iron before you touch their head with it?
Test it on a towel.
Test it on a towel. Now you can't put the towel in between the deal, but I would put it in the bag with the iron, so when you pull it out. Oh yeah, I got to test this.
Because on like a towel or a neck strip or like a pink towel.
If towel works. All you gotta do is put the pig towel in, clamp on it, hold it for about 2 seconds, take it out, throw it in the trash, sanitize, and then start curling the hair. Curls are already there. You find the curls on base, but you comb underneath there like you protect it, like you do every day. You do every day. Make 4 curls, set your iron back on the table, step back.
So is it just 2 here, 2 here?
Yep.
Okay, not on
2 on the top, 2 on the side.
Okay, so only on one side.
One side.
And do this one on the side go down?
Yeah, doesn't matter. I would make it go down.
Make it go down.
I would. I think it's easier for them to check.
Do we have time to include them after the barbering side of it?
Yeah, you have 8 minutes.
So did they say, okay, go in the sanitizer area, or?
No, I just read that to you. So what they're going to say to you is, after the barbering thing, they're going to excuse the barber, and where did I put that paper? Oh, underneath. You prepare your work area for your next client. Okay? You set up universal supplies, so that's when you clean the barber stuff out. You don't do that until they tell you. They give you 15 minutes to do it. So you clean up everything else you did the barbering, you re-disinfect, restart, clean your hands, then set up for this part, this thermal curling and hair cutting. is the 2 you're doing on this mannequin. So this is your third client. This is your third cape. Because that barber cape's gotta go. The towel's gotta go. You got a new cape for this. So this is your third client right here. Okay, let's go on. Thermal supplies, labeled in English, implement supplies are visibly clean. Test the temperature of the iron. Subsection hair for thermal curling. Demonstrate safe use of the iron. Final appearance of the curls. Don't put fish hooks in them. Don't put a burn line in it before you take it there. Maintain drapes out of section. IV disinfect soil in. Blah 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 blah. Question. That's easy. That's why they used to start with this, because it's non-invasive. Because everybody's nervous. Everybody's a curling iron.
Does your curling iron have to be in the back?
Yes. Everything's got to be in the back of your mannequin heads and your stand. Everything else got to be in the sanitized bag.
So you said like it should be 4 inches?
Yeah, it should be 6 inches.
Oh, 6 inches.
Yeah. Okay. Haircutting. So this is the same client. We're going to cut their hair. You perform a haircut. You complete a basic layered haircut using a razor and shears. You'll cut at least 1 inch of hair throughout the haircut. Do not remove your hair clippings from the work area until you're instructed individually by the examiner to do so. So this is where I like to see them slide it a little bit away from the table so you don't get hair all over the table. It might make you push it back up against there. So if you get on the table, you got to clean it up. If you expect fall climb protection, you have 30 minutes to this haircut. It's telling you have 15 minutes remaining. Okay. Haircut supplies labeled in English. Implement supplies busy clean. Subsection hair for haircutting. Demonstrates safe use of the razor. Demonstrates safe use of the shears. So let's talk about the razor real quick. Get the razor part of this done first. So take it maybe again. We grab a razor here. Take your razor out and just get that done first. Now, the same razor you're using for the barbering and shave, this is where you're going to have a blade in. I take your feather razor when you've been cutting hair with. Okay? All you're going to do is take this hair right back here, and take your razor, and you're going to cut that hair off. You cut the length off of it. Just cut that all off. Make sure you can see you cut it with the razor. Clean your razor off. Wipe it off the wipe, put it back down, clean your hands, then do the rest of the haircut.
And you're cutting it to a 4-inch
Basic haircut. Yep. The 4-inch basic haircut, you leave it in your kit and sell it to the person who buys your kit. So now they should pay you $35 for that mannequin, that's what you pay for it. Okay, so you're gonna have to pass that on to them. So you just do a basic haircut. You might see the Paul Mitchell get part hair everywhere. We don't part hair, we just pull it up and cut it off. How does that? Everything's the same? Everything's the same out here. Up here, out here. Basic haircut. Doesn't have to be a taper, it's got to be a basic haircut all over. Cuts entire uniform length. Cuts this to say, please may I have your comb, you give them a comb again, they check it. The haircut blended. Blend it out here. They might round off, you round the corners off if you want. Longer flows. The 6 inches here should be 6 inches out here. It starts to look like a mullet in the back, just take that off. Even if you've already cut it with the razor, go with use your shears and cut it off. Just so it looks good. Removes hair from the work area, maintains drape throughout the section, IV disinfect the soil lines, blah, blah, blah. Question?
So in between the curling and the haircut, you change drapes?
Nope. Same client.
Okay.
This is the same client.
Okay, then what was okay, so you're saying this is the third type, what was
The haircut barber, the shave barber.
Oh.
You do the barber's haircut, you re-drape for the shave, good client. Take it all down, break it all down. Number 3 is the haircut and the curling iron. Okay. Number 4, this is the big one. This is the big package. This is the bag that's got everything in it. Okay? Work area, new client preparation, and set up for supplies. You will break down your work area and dispose of supplies used in previous sections of examination. Remember again, girls, anything that left out here has to be disinfected. Just wipe it off. You can't disinfect this, just leave it there. But this needs to be wiped off, this got to be wiped off, everything's got to be wiped off with a new client, new place. Wipe the table down. Okay? This stuff's all gone. That's all gone. Mannequin stays, she stays, but this is all gone. All right. Prepare your work area for a new client. You'll set up the universal supplies you will use for the remainder of the examination. This is it. We're heading down the stretch here. You'll also set up supplies for following sections of examination. In this order: chemical waving, predisposition test and strand test, highlighting the foil version application, hair color retouch, and a version relaxer application. You prepare your client for chemical services. You'll be expected to follow all client protective safety control procedures. You have 15 minutes to complete the section. You'll be told you have 8 minutes remaining. Blah, 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 blah. So they're checking. Did you disinfect the work area? Did you sanitize your hands? Everything labeled in English. And you have those 3 right there still there. So you get points for that. So, pull out your chemical stuff. Let's go.
Well, no, it's, I'm not prepared, it's the fact that this kit has like half of the shit in it. And I'm like, literally, she was like, just put your razor in, you should be fine.
Okay, this is one that should have bags and bags and bags, so you get mixed up. So your first bag is going to be chemical burning, which is permanent wave.
And you just take one bag out at a time?
Oh,
or
yeah.
You take out all of
So,
your supplies?
I take them all out and just get rid of the bags. If they're all separate bags, you pull them all out and set them up.
So the supplies are, we were just about.
Sure, just the bag like that, just the bag.
Okay.
Make sure they're sealed, yeah, yeah. Oh yeah, I need to be disinfected. Yeah, they said that they're not a one-use item, so it can be disinfected.
What was the first one?
Burn. Chemical waving, and then we get into the rest of it. So let's go down. Chemical waving, predisposition test, and strand test, highlighting the foil, virgin application, hair color retouch, virgin hair relaxer application.
You can't have water, can you?
Yes, you can take a water bottle.
Oh, that's great.
And you can have it and you can drink it. No
And would
problem.
you just set it down?
If
and
it's on the
disinfect
table,
it too?
disinfect it each time. But yes, that's permissible. You carry it in there. Hello. Hi. How you doing?
Doing good. Like my necklace?
Yeah, it's beautiful.
Thank you, sir.
All righty. Friendliest kid in the world. Okay, so you're gonna see people do purple rods and gray rods and white rods. I just believe pink rods gives you a better look and makes your mannequin look like a better wrap. That's my belief. Do what you want. Okay, so you have to wrap this, and let's read this as we go through this. All right.
When you do a haircut, before you do it, can you spray it down with water?
Oh, you have to.
Water?
Yeah. Yeah. All right. You perform the chemical waving. You'll wrap the entire center back section of the head from the crown to the nape. There's one row down there. Once you're finished wrapping, please step back and do nothing until the rest verbal instructions are given. This is where the guy told me, says, when they read that to you, step back only after you've prepared this for the saturation. And we'll talk about that. You expect follow time, safety, infection procedure, 20 minutes, reform, 10 minutes remaining. Do not perform saturation procedure or test or remove a rod until instructed by the examiner to do so. Do not remove the rain rods until instructed to do so. Okay, so they tell you to begin. So you're going to wrap your mannequin up, get it all wrapped up in the back, and better than this is one of my new students I haven't seen in 2 weeks. I don't know if he's coming back or not. But roll this section down. You've got the section all the way rolled down. I would have this pinned up, this hair pinned up right here, and this hair pinned up. Because it looks clean. Okay, I'd wrap the cotton around the rods. I'd put the protective cream on the bottom, and then I'd step back. So when doing the protective cream, spray your hands off, and pull it out, protective cream, make sure it goes all the way around. They want it just mainly in the neck so they can see it. Then step back, your mannequin's ready to go. The cotton's on there, it's all ready to go. So no matter what that says, do what I tell you. Roll it up, wrap the cotton on it, put the protective cream on. The neater this looks, the more impressed that judge is. If those 4 sections are pinned up and that's just clean, that looks so good. Then you can roll it in there. And then you step back. Okay, while you're stepping back, this is an untimed event. So they can ask you to demonstrate this. I did this in class a couple weeks ago. What was I going to say? I'll remember. Oh, when you wrap the perm wrap, make sure the hair is really wet. Now, if hair drips on the floor while you're working, you got to stop and wipe it up. It's an unsafe area. So if you're spraying it and it's dripping all over the floor, that's unsafe. Wipe it up, disinfect your hands, and keep going. Water on the floor is unsafe. Okay, so when you wrap with your end papers, make sure the end paper just absorbs the water. And roll it up. So it looks like it's saturated all the way up. I always tell the story about Ashley Mae Bradshaw. She forgot to put water in her perm first. So she went in there and she had it so wet, she just went like this, threw the bottle in the trash. Did you saturate? Yes, I did. Did you see me? Yeah, I saturated. Unwrap it. It was soaking wet. So you had to give it to her. But that's a good, that made me remember, you gotta get that wet. The hair's gonna be wet anyways, but you just get a haircut on it. Okay? Okay, so here's the deal. So now they're going to go here and they're going to say, demonstrate saturation. They're going to do it to you individually. So number one, you're the ones that get started first. So they're going to say, demonstrate saturation. So you should have your bottle out that says waving lotion on it, and it should be full of water. And if you put a little cap on it so it doesn't leak, good. That's what we want. Okay, but only put this much water in. Don't fill it clear up. You can only saturate like 12 rods. Take the little cap off, you got it ready to go, clean your hands, and then put your gloves on. Anything chemical, have gloves when you start the chemical. And those gloves can be on the whole time you're doing the chemicals. Just keep cleaning. Okay. So when you demonstrate saturation, 2 squirts on every rod. Now, here's the kicker that I was unaware of until this deal. You need a towel. The towel goes underneath right here, so there's no drips. No drips. So when you're saturating that, you're saturating here, and you're holding that towel there to catch any drips. Make sure it's wiped off, then go out on the floor. That's a big one. Just have a towel. If you have a bag of towels, just pull a towel out, seal it back up, and away you go.
Well, since it's the same person, like.
It's the same
You
person.
said you can't have it dripped down, and you're just spraying it down to make sure it's.
Right.
You could do it on the towel there.
You could, yeah. And then you get rid of the towel. So when you saturate, they want us to have you have a towel right there. I've always done saturates on a client. I've always pushed a towel up against their head, the one that's on their neck. This drape, but we're just draping like this, not a double drape. You don't have to do a double drape. Just have a towel there to catch it, and then throw it on to be disinfected or on soil linens, and then you can see saturation. They're gonna have you demonstrate a test curl. Okay? So when you demonstrate a test curl, before you pull it out like this, you come all the way out to the end paper, you look at it, you push in like that, and then you roll it right back up. And then they'll say, take that rod out. So you take this rod out right here, and you want to see the ends covered. If the end's not covered, they have you take another one out. Hopefully that one's covered, or you won't pass that part of the test. So it's pretty simple in just doing the procedure. Do the same wrap all the way around. If you're using perm rods, all my perm rods have a square rubber band on them. They can have one twist in them, but if they're all twisted up above the hair, it sits on the hair like that, that's unacceptable. That's too many twists. That will break the hair. So you want to see it, so let it go before you put it in. If it's got one little twist, no big deal. But if you're doing on base wrap, all of them have to be on base. like these, none of these are on beige. So that would be acceptable. Good, not on beige. But we don't want to do that. We want to look clean. And the more, more rods you get, the cleaner it looks. That's just impressive to the judge. They go, this girl looks, she's doing all to check on this girl here. Question?
Do you do neck strips for the hair cutting part and then switch back to the
No, towel. Shoot a towel. Yeah. The towel. The purpose of the towel is so they can see it. If you can use a black cape, don't use a black towel. Use a white towel so they can see it. So they can see the neck is protected. Okay.
So you only have to wrap back here,
From the crown down.
and you're down to how many? Does it
Many
say?
to take.
As many.
So I would say put 20 rods in your deal, and it only takes you 15, great. But if you have a rod break, so if you have a band break, you take this one out and bring that in.
You said from the crown down?
Yeah, from the crown down. So if a rod breaks and you can't do the last one, you take this top one out and put it down here.
Are we just doing that? Just
That's
one
it.
section?
That's it. One section. One section. That's why to part this off and clean this hair up so it looks nice and clean, just shows a little extra effort. I think it goes a long way.
5 parts, like 2 here, and then the one to hold it there.
Well, I would just T-part it. I just T-part it and pin those sections up and just do your rods. Because you're going to have to 5-part it here in a second. All right. Question with the perm.
So you put the protective cream on after it's the permanent rods are wrapped.
Yeah, get that on. Wrap it, put the cotton on, protective cream on, then step back. Because if she says demonstrate saturation, you might panic and freak out, forget to put the cotton on, forget to put the stuff on. Just get it done. Then step back and wait for it. Okay. Do not remove any remaining rods until instructed to do so. All examiners indicate they are ready to proceed. You will remove all remaining rods from the head and create 5 sections for the remaining chemical service. You can expect to follow my protection from heaters. You have 5 minutes to complete the section. You'll be told you have 2 minutes. So this is the one you really got to giddy up. You got to get those rods out. Now, this is the one they watch. Where does that go? Where does this go? Okay, I have to be disinfected. Make sure you do that right. So peel those things off. You only got 5 minutes. Get this thing done for the 2 minutes. In 2 minutes. Oh, you got 5 minutes. So get that scene done. She's still a client. So now we're doing 5 sections. 5 sections. The 4, just like we do when we do this, and just pin them up there so we get ready for the next one. Okay? All right. So we get the 5 sections done. Maintain drape throughout the section. I'd be disinfected soil. So what if your drape falls off? Okay, if you don't have another one, what are you gonna do? Wipe it off. Wipe it off if you don't have another one.
So, does this cape, since it's for chemical services, need to be thicker?
It needs to be a chemical cape, yeah.
Oh yeah, I have to change it.
Yeah, it needs to be a chemical cape.
So if, since it's the same person that you're doing the current thing on, if you did like instead of the 2-part, if you did the 5 to get it ready and have it all separated out.
That's fine.
You could just take out the.
Sure.
You don't have to redo it.
No. That's good, as long as you get the 5 seconds. All right. So we did this one, and I was doing it the old way, so I went to this class. Here's the new way. As far as the strand test, I did this in class a couple weeks ago. You perform the predisposition test and strand test for permanent hair color. You demonstrate the predisposition test behind the ear. You demonstrate the strand test.
Camilla, everyone is here, Camilla.
Strand test process on any single subsection of hair. You expect to follow contraceptive procedure. You have 10 minutes to do this. You told you have 5 minutes remaining. So let's talk about the predisposition test. What's the first thing you do when doing it? Clean it. What do you clean it with? No. We usually use alcohol wipes. They said that's not good. It irritates the skin, so it has to be a cleanser. So you need something in that one bag that says strand test and predisposition test has to say cleanser. So you take the cleanser out, you squirt it on a cotton ball, you put it behind the ear, you throw that in the trash, and then you have, and I'd have one of those little cups like Callie's got over here with simulated color, and a Q-tip. So you're not digging through all your color stuff, just put one separate in there. Because you're going to use it on the strand test too. So after you put your cleanser on, you take, you dip it your stuff with your Q-tip, put it behind the ear, that's done, move right into your strand test. Don't wait, just put the predisposition test and move right into the strand test.
What's the Q-tip for?
Just to put the product on behind the ear.
Okay, so it just needs to be labeled cleanser, that's it?
What?
So it just needs to be labeled cleanser?
Yeah, it says say cleanser.
Or we just want water in there?
Bag of water?
Look at it.
Oh, yeah, it can be water as long as it says labeled cleanser. It doesn't have to be a real thing. Okay. Okay, we did that. Now we're doing the strand test. Now here's the big thing on the strand test that we weren't doing before. We're putting it in a foil. We don't need to do a foil. Okay? So we're going to take a section of hair out of here, and the strand test is on one section, wherever you want to do. I do it on the same part you did the predisposition test. And it's just a strand test. That much hair right there, that's all you need.
Around the face like that.
Anywhere you want it. You put it on the face, put it back in here. They just want to see you do a strand test. You pull it out like this. You put your product on there. You work it into, you got gloves on, you're doing chemical. Work it in here, work it out here, stand right here. You got it all right on, great. You got it on, super. Now grab your towel, your water bottle, spray it, and take it out. That's the full process of a strand test. We put it on, we make sure we process it, it's processed, squirt water on
Can
there,
we put a bump, please, Jillian?
wipe off the towel, and we're done.
So you don't need to like step back or anything, so.
Once you wipe it off, step back. They're gonna watch you do it.
Talking about when you put the product.
Oh no, just hold it, you can hold it and look at it. Wait a second, and grab your water off the towel, pull here, spray it on, and wipe it off. So I want to see you apply it, get it applied, and wipe it off.
And do you wipe off
Nope, just leave it. So we use a cleanser behind the ear, and a strand test is the process. Put the product on, report the process, and then wipe it off with a towel. Spraying it and wiping it off.
What do you label about this process?
You can put simulated product. You can put simulated hair color, whatever. But I think it's better if you put it in that bag. If you can remember to use it, great, because you got all the other color bags going on. But I think if you keep them separated, it takes the anxiety level down so you know what fast is looking for. Once you start looking confused, then they're going to pick on you.
So do you need two of these in there? One with the
I would put
color
one-
and one with the cleanser?
You can use that all in this pretty right there.
But yes,
It's for the color and.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
you could pretend this is cleanser. Is that what you're saying?
No, she said use simulated product in with the strand test and the predisposition test. Yeah, use it for both. Simulated color
Yeah.
behind
Oh,
the ear.
yeah. Oh, gotcha.
And use it on the strand test. All right. This is probably the hardest one of all, except for the facial. Facial is the hardest. Predisposition test, strand supplies negative, supply demonstrates predisposition test behind the ear, demonstrates strand test process. The process maintains very good section. So okay. Highlighting with foil, virgin application, color simulated product, and you got to start in the front. This is why it's so hard on a mannequin because the hair is sewn in going backwards. You form a highlighting with foil, virgin application.
Hey, with the shave, they only do 1 through 5?
Yep.
Yep.
Report highlighting with a foil virgin application. You'll place 4 foils on the top of the head from the front hairline to the apex. They want you to start in the front. To apply, you will apply simulated highlighting product from upper edge of the foil to the hair end. You can expect to follow class protection and safety procedure. You have 15 minutes to do this. You'll be informed you have 8 minutes remaining. So they don't want to see a weave. They want to see a foil. So just slice it out and slice it thin. This is the front. Put the product on, it's a virgin application, so it's off the scalp. Put it in there, make sure it's tight, fold it up and make sure it's nice and tight. And then fold it a couple times so it doesn't fall down in the face. Okay, you can take a natural, fold it forward, take the next one and do 4 of them. Just get and slice them. Do them thin. You can take a big natural out as long as you get back to here with 4 foils. The virgin application, you know, so just off the scalp.
And, off this one.
Yeah.
So it has to go back to the crown.
Well, it's gonna go back 4 foils. I don't think you can go all the way to the front. So it's a virgin application to the top of the scalp. But they want to see the foil all the way to the scalp.
Yeah, start at the front or the second.
Front. They want to see the front first on purpose to see how you use this foil. Are you dangerous with the foil? So the foil has to be folded a couple extra times so it stays up off. Now, some people haven't put a piece of cotton in there so it keeps the foil off the face. That's in case you heat it up. You're not heating this up. So if you want to put a piece of cotton underneath there, keep it off the face, just shove some under it. Make sure you have gloves on this time. Gloves are all the way through this thing. Highlighting with foils, label English, implement supplies, visibly clean. Subject, care for highlighting with foils, uses correct foil placement. All cans indicate you have completed the section. Please do nothing until you're told. Please stop working. Final results, assimilate product. Maintain great throughout the section. Don't come and look at one of your foils. Make sure it's not on scalp.
You
And
leave it off the ends too?
no.
Or the,
And we
All
use
right.
like a color brush for that one?
Yep. All right, so we're to the next one. Number 8, hair color retouch with color simulated product. Guess you might need a blue gel for this one to see it. I don't know. You perform a hair color retouch application. You apply simulated hair color product to one section of the back of the head. The client has 1 inch of regrowth. You have 10 minutes to complete the section if you told you have 5 minutes remaining. So this is a 1/2 inch retouch except it's 1 inch long. This is what they're looking for. Consistency on this. If this is the same, this one's the same, this one's the same, this one's the same. They're consistent. They're looking for that consistent line that's wet as you apply this product. So because you're doing the back section, they want you to outline the T part. So outline an inch of that T part, inch of this T part here, and just do this back section. Take it on an angle like you've been taught, and do it 1 inch long. And make sure they see the application the same all the way down. That's what they're looking for. Consistency on the line of demarcation you put that in. I didn't know that before, definitely. That should be easy enough. Alright, moving right along. Apply simulated hair color product. Final results of hair color product application. That's where they want to see the line of demarcation. Now we're in the virgin relaxer application for color simulated product. This is easy too, because it's only one strand in one section. You perform a virgin hair relaxer application. You apply simulated relaxer product on a single subsection of hair. You'll be expected to follow the client's safety. You'll be instructed by the examiner to demonstrate the virgin hair relaxer application. This is an untimed deal. So you do this in front of the examiner. So they want to see the virgin application full procedure. So that means you're going to take your strand of hair out of there, out of this section, wherever you're at, and cover it up here. It's a virgin application with hair relaxer. You do the virgin application, 1/2 inch out, 1/2 inch off the end. Okay? Then you, after you've done the application, you work it with your hand. You work this into your gloved hand like this. Then you apply it, work it through the end, then you apply it to the scalp. Apply it through here, and demonstrate smoothing with your comb. Smooth it. And smooth it down from the scalp up. The initial application has to be off the scalp, and has to be off the end. Okay, that's fine. There's the application you're watching. Now you're going to finish this application. You're going to take your glove hand, extend it out to here, grab your brush, put it down there, work it here, just bury off the scalp, because the heat scalp comes down there, and work it through, then grab your comb, back of your comb, and demonstrate smoothly. And you're good. Huh? One strand. But it's a section. So if the section's this way, the strand is the length of that section. The strand is the length of the strand. You take this whole section right here. You understand? You do that whole section. But you do it like an application. So a virgin application, 1/2 inch, off the ends, off the scalp. And then you drag it through and come back and finish it. So you see the process.
so one part for the retouch, and you use a different section for that.
Oh yeah, no, this is not being used.
But you
So you
still have
retouch
the-
it over here, and you virgin relax it over. It could be over here too.
Will you leave the foils in it too?
There's no foil.
The foils out.
These
Just from the
are in here,
previous-
they stay here. So then you, whatever's not used, you pick the section. For that.
So is the perm done with the shorter one? Because then when it'd be all wet?
This is gonna be short too.
So is it's gonna be a new head?
So this haircut you're going is going through all this stuff. You just did this thermal curling and haircut on this. Then you do everything else on it. This is not going anywhere. This is staying.
Are they different people or just?
No,
So
this is the same person.
It's this, like the one we did the perm on.
Yeah.
So it's gonna be wet.
Yeah, it's gonna be wet. But they'll be able to see it. Excuse me. This is the one you're gonna cut too, so this will all be wet. Don't start drawing out as you do it.
So when you smooth it, do you have to use a comb or can you use like a
I think if you use the back of that brush, you're fine. Just have to demonstrate smoothing. Doesn't say if the comb or anything. All right, questions. That's where we go to the hardest part of the test. Then they move into blood exposure. And everybody's done that. They do it for your advanced stuff here. Remember, they indicate you cut your finger. If you're left-handed, you cut your right finger. If you're right-handed, you cut your left finger, and you demonstrate it. So this is where you're using alcohol wipe. You open this up. You can use both hands. Just don't touch it. You clean the area. You don't have to put it in a double bag. It just goes right in your trash. Okay? And then you clean it. It goes in the trash. Put the Band-Aid on it and the glove, and you're done. Easy.
Band-Aid and glove.
Yep. Band-Aid and
And you
glove.
wipe it off with
You wipe it off with alcohol wipe in the trash. Put a Band-Aid on it. Put a glove. You don't need ointment. They just want to see how you handle this blood by not touching anything with it. It's pretty easy. You've all done it. Should be an issue.
And you just put a glove in there.
Yeah. Put a glove in your first aid
And
kit.
then these don't need to be in there anymore.
You don't need a puff pad. No.
Heck yeah.
No puff pad. Okay. Let's see. Let's talk about the last three. There's three of them. But because this guy needs to go to the restroom, take a break for a second and we'll finish this up. What's up, man?
Okay, go ahead. Take the day off after this.
I know, right? I feel like if I can get in my head, like, in what order the things are coming in, then it won't be that bad. But like right now, it just feels like, okay, now I'm doing what exactly, you know? I'm one of those that just practice, like, the Why did I put that together? She put that together the rest of the steps, so it's a little more things. But, the bottom stuff, she didn't put that. So it's literally like, nothing to the bottom stuff, so I was just like,
Kelly, who's buying yours after you're done?
No one.
Dibs.
Sweet stream. That's perfect. I'm gonna go through and.
No, we're gonna talk about it. Hang on a second.
You
Could be
reorganize all the new
or
stuff?
kid too.
What?
Put all the new stuff that he was
We have to
saying.
fix it.
I'm just wondering if you've got,
It's like not bad, but it just
No,
needs
yours
a
looks-
little.
Yeah.
No, I didn't have any.
well, everybody says that if they get one from there, it's not.
I'm gonna tell you how to fix that. We get it with Gracie.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh.
She did. And it's perfect.
Really?
They didn't look at it. Perfect. Because that's when I can pull that plug out. And it'll let you. Now we probably could glue the plug in, but they're still, as soon as you see the plug, they take it away from you.
Huh.
Before the test.
Okay, so the facial has been upgraded since January 1st to be an esthetician facial, which is great. Fine. Super. All right. You have 2 minutes to set up stuff for your basic facial. You still use the same mannequin, still use the same tray. You perform a basic facial. Take all client protection, safety, infection procedures. You have 20 minutes to complete this section. Be told you have 10 minutes remaining. Instruction will be repeated and you may begin. So when I tell you to begin, you go ahead and do your facial. Now, there are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19 steps
Oh my.
you have to perform.
Oh.
So let's break them down so we understand what we're doing with this facial. The first thing is that you got to pull your facial stuff out. Sure, I should have written the instructions. You have 2 minutes left your apply for basic facial section examination. Please do not beginning procedure until verbal instruction instruction begin. Step back and you indicate your finish. Pull your stuff out. Same client. You don't have to disinfect anything. Once you get your stuff out, then they read the instructions to you. Make sure everything's labeled. Anything that you have to have a spatula with, make sure your spatulas are in there. Once you open the bag, everything's got to come out. So you can put your spatulas in a separate little bag. And so when you have the spatula in a separate bag, in your hands, you go and pull the spatula out, shut it again so you have it. So it's still disinfected. But make sure you clean your hands before you go into any bag. That's a good idea right here.
Adeline, your appointment there, Adeline.
There you go. Like that. But you make sure you clean your hands before you go in there and get them.
Are we allowed, are we allowed to ask them to, like,
You can't ask them one question.
you can't be like, can you read that?
No.
I do.
You can't ask questions.
So like I have.
Here's their answer if you ask questions. If you ask questions, they say to you, do the best you can with what you have. That's their answer.
Doesn't
So
matter.
you can print this test off. It's the exact test. You guys can print that off in those guidelines. You can see it. And you can practice it. This is how we practice. So you get the order down. Now I'm still trying to learn order. All right? So here we go.
So like I have this extra stuff that still says client free. Can I leave this on the table
Yeah.
and not take it out of the bag?
Yeah.
And leave it just like
Yeah.
that?
As long as you don't go to a new client. All right. Basic facial. So let's walk through the steps. All right. So you're gonna have your this has been chemicalized. It's got stuff in the hair. We're gonna pull it back and put that hair up. Put a bag on it. So put a head drape on this mannequin. Get that hair off the face because you're gonna have to do a wax on it also. So if you have a head drape after all the chemical stuff, just put something on there to cover that hair up. Just get it out of the way. Perfect. Shower cap, anything works to hold it back out of the way. Now you've got a naked face, both for the facial and for the eyebrow arching. Perfect. All right. That's her underwear?
No.
Okay.
No,
Nice.
you usually get,
In definition.
And anything to get off the face.
Caps that-
Just get it out of the way.
caps girls use to set their curls, but.
Nice. Okay. So let's go through the basic facial steps. You're going to cleanse the eyes and the mouth. So first thing you do, remember, this section's got 3 wet towels also. It only calls for 2, but I still believe you need to use, it calls for 1. I think you should use 2 just to make sure you know what you're doing. All right. Cleanse the eye area completely. Don't get it in the eye, but make sure you're cleansing the cleansing cream. You're cleaning above the eye, underneath the eyes, on both sides. You're watching for you not get it in the eyes, all right? Cleansing the lips completely. So go around the lips. Get it really good around the lips. Clean them out really good. Make sure they see you do the eyes and the lips. Then you cleanse the rest of the face. Get the cleansing cream on. Get the rest of the face. Every place you could be doing this facial at. Get the cleansing cream on. That's great, all right?
Can you order that with the same cotton on?
Yeah. Just go ahead and put it on there. Then you just make sure you cleanse it all over the face. Remove the residue cleaner. Removes residue with a cleaner. So you can put facial cleaner, you mark it in that facial cleaner, you put that on there and you're taking that all off. So get emotions all the way around, Don't get in the eyes, don't get in the lips. You're taking this cleanser all the way around. Every place you get a massage. Okay? Get the cleanser on. All right. Apply the toner and the astringent. So we're going to cleanse. We're going to wipe the cleanser off, and we're going to put the toner and astringent on. So we get the toner, astringent, cotton balls put on all over the place. We get it put on all over the place. All right. Here's the exfoliation now. So you have to have a product called exfoliant. So you put it on with the brush, you put it on your hands, put the exfoliant on. It doesn't have to be granular. It'll just be, it says exfoliant, so you put it on. You put it on everywhere, every place you can put it on. Up here, put it on with your fingers, whatever. If you want to use a little brush, or you want to use, I say use those flat cotton things and wipe it around like you're exfoliant the skin all the way around. Perfect. That's great. All right. Now, we've got, it says, applies exfoliant product over face, manipulates with implements or material excluding eyes and mouth. So this is when you use the flats, you're implementing that. All right, this is where the first hot towel comes in. So, steam towel. Test it, wring it, put it on just like the barber facial, the barber shave. Step back, remove it. Move all this stuff off. It's done. So, we've cleaned it, remove the cleaner, exfoliate it, remove it, exfoliate it. Now we're doing the massage cream. Same thing. If your hands are clean, you can go on here, take the massage cream, and put it every place you get a massage. Put the massage cream on, get it on the whole face. You have to demonstrate 5 movements. Okay, effleurage. Okay, massage. Opponent and friction.
Audrey, your next appointment here, Audrey.
Like this. Okay? Once you demonstrated those 5 deals, exercise, effleurage, opponent, and friction is just deep rubbing movement. Remove residue massage product. This is where I put the hot towel again and take the massage product off. Same thing. Fold it over, put it on, wipe it off. Take all that stuff off. Okay? And then you apply the toner again. Double toner. Take the toner, put it on there, and after the toner, then you got to put a moisturizer on. The shave we put on a powder, but in this one we put a moisturizer on. Work it in all the way around the skin, keep off the eyes and mouth. So you got to learn those steps, okay? We got to clean the face, wipe the cleaner off, exfoliate it, take that stuff off, put the massage cream on, do the massage manipulations. Wipe the massage cream off, put the toner back on, and then the moisturizer. And once you've done those steps, now, one thing that's against the rules, you can't number your product. You can't say, number 1, cleanser, number 2, toner, number 3, exfoliant. You can't do that. You can put them in different colors though, if you want to, so you remember. So this is one thing you're going to have to remember how to do this stuff, and you get the points for it. So here's your points, and this is and like I said, we had some kids struggling with this, but they're all seem to get through this now, but they understand how to do this part of it.
So do you need the wet towels
Yeah.
for that too? The wet towels for the.
The second one, you don't have to, it says remove the residue massage product. I use the wet towel to get it off. You get 2 of them. You gotta get your full exfoliant off with it, and then you take the rest of that off before you put the toner and stuff on.
So which of the products are we allowed to use our fingers with the ones?
What's the one? No what?
Which products are we allowed to use our fingers with and which ones do we have to use?
The exfoliant.
So we exfoliate it only when we have to.
No, you can put the exfoliant on with your finger, but then you just use one of those flat things to manipulate it around the face.
So, but you
Sometimes when they use an exfoliant, a lot of people use a brush.
But you can't get it out with your fingers. You have to get out with a spatula.
You always have to have a spatula.
And then you're telling
Even if
me
your
this
fingers are
not
clean, they
common.
can't go in there yet. Questions? That's the biggest one that's changed the most. All right.
Does it matter how small your mannequin is throughout the whole day?
No, it's up to you. It's up to you. So when you're doing whatever you're doing, make sure you have this adjusted before you get a drape, where you want that mannequin. When you redrape, get your mannequin where you want it. You know you're doing a facial or a shave, make sure you got the slot will tip back. Get it where you want it. Okay, we're in the home stretch. Got 2 to do. Hair removal of eyebrows by tweezing and using simulated soft wax. You have 2 minutes to set up your supplies for hair removal and eyebrows by tweezing and using simulated soft wax like examination. So you do not begin any procedure until the verbal instructions have been given to you. Step back and indicate you have finished. So we're still the same client. This client's getting all the stuff done. So by this time, your little box there should be about empty. You have just the fingernails left. Now you got the eyebrow stuff left. All right. You'll perform hair removal of the eyebrows by tweezing and simulated soft wax. You demonstrate hair removal from one eyebrow by tweezing. You'll demonstrate hair removal from the other eyebrow using simulated soft wax. You'll be expected to follow all client protection, safety, and infection control procedures. You'll be instructed individually by the examiner to demonstrate the tweezing and soft wax procedures. This is another one that's on time. You have to demonstrate in front of the examiner. You'll begin demonstration of tweezing and soft wax procedures until instructed to do so. And then grade your hair removal supplies labeled in English and put the supplies visibly clean. Please demonstrate the hair removal of the eyebrow by tweezing. So you just do the tweeze, and there's steps here. You do the tweezing, okay? You put your gloves on. So make sure you have gloves for this one.
Do you need gloves for the facial?
No. So put a pair of gloves in with this stuff. Okay. The very first thing you do before you demonstrate tweezing is what? What do we apply to the eyebrow?
Cleanser.
What?
Cleanser.
Yeah, antiseptic. So just use an alcohol wipe. It's an antiseptic right there. Holds the skin taut and demonstrates tweezing. So you have a pair of tweezers, hold the skin taut, and you pull in the direction it grows. Everybody knows that?
But you're just pretending. Because
Right, you're just pretending. And what do you do after you pull them out? Apply what? No. Well, it's fresh, and then what to finish up?
those separations cream.
No. Another wipe. So with the tweezing, you do the alcohol wipe. You do the tweezing, alcohol wipe. Tweezing's pretty simple. The waxing's got a few more steps. So we're doing the other eyebrow for the wax. Okay? No. Okay, so they're going to say demonstrate with the soft wax. Demonstrate remove the soft wax. So the first thing you do is clean the eyebrow. Antiseptic wipe. Now it's wet, what do we got to do? We got to put an absorbent material on there. So you put the cleanser on this side, but we're going to put a wax on, it's not going to stick. You take a piece of paper towel out there, you put some in your kit, whatever, and just dab it on there so it dries it off. Throw it in the trash. All right? Test the temperature of the product. Now you got to remember to do this part. Hot wax goes on your clean wrist, and then on the eyebrow. Just do underneath the eyebrow, not on top. So we apply that on there. We get our paper, we put it on, smooth it on, hold it on there, we hold it taut, and we pull opposite direction.
What are you using for the wax?
Gel. Anything they can see.
And
Now,
then wash
one
it.
thing to watch for, don't run that stuff crooked in the eyebrow. Make sure you put it underneath the eyebrow. Don't get up in here, even though it's painted on. You put that on, hold it taut, and tear it off.
And you're gonna wash it individually on that one.
Yeah, this is all individual. You're going to do the tweezing on one side, and the waxing on the other. Then they'll go to the next person. That's why it takes so long to do that. Okay. After you pull that off, the strip, applies antiseptic to this area. So you gotta put that wipe again, put the antiseptic on there, and then post-epilation powder. This is powder. You just take and dab it on there.
So you don't need the post-completion cream?
No, it's powder. Well, you can do either one. It's a post-epilation product. So if you have a post-epilation cream, you put that on there as long as it says on there. And you're done.
We get docked if you go.
There's no docking. You either get the points or you don't.
Or like, will we not get the points if like we do it really fast?
No. As long as you demonstrate. Just like for the demonstration. I don't know about speed or anything.
So you do the cream and then powder
Yeah.
afterwards.
Yeah.
Did you say you wipe
You
it?
clean. So the tweezing, you clean, tweeze, and clean. The cream, you clean, dry, put the wax on, tear it off, clean, and post-epilation. That's the only difference. You just gotta remember to dry that so it'll stick.
And you don't even the powder on the tweezing side?
No.
And you have to have the post-epilation powder and or just one?
Either one.
Okay.
Either one. All right, here comes the talk about the freaking nail.
Stealing my holders.
Okay, this is the kit you get at Sally's. Okay, so you take this kit out like this. We're gonna open it up like this. Because Sally's didn't seal the top of this anymore. Kind of like that. So they open that up, and they see a red plug in there. You can't use it because Sally's has two kinds. A kind that has a red plug in it, and the kind that has a foil on it. So this is the one that Gracie had. We see Gracie, so we took, right here in the practice, we measured out some foil on there. We took the plug she had in there, measured out the foil, and she cut it out, and she put it on, she glued it on there, and she trimmed it up nice and clean, put the lid back on. So as soon as that person opens up, they see the foil on it, they said, you're good to go. Everybody had the red deal, they took it away from them.
And then
You just can't get it. We can't get this with the foil in it. So if it's got the red plug, they take it away from you. So if they take it away from you, they say, do the best you can with what you have. So you go through the steps. I think Ashton just dumped some of this in her thing and went through the steps. Didn't make a nail at all. And she just went through the steps, filed it, and she passed. One girl didn't even continue, and she still passed.
Yeah, Gracie said none of them did it except her, because they all got it taken away.
Yeah, they just took it away. So the steps, when you do this correctly, you want to make sure when you do the hand, where's your hand?
So how do you seal?
Your nails should be done on there, hanging over the tips with acrylic nails. They should be already on there. Okay, this is one that's got done. So you can slide that form underneath there. They can have a nail on them. Just you gotta be able to slide the form. I say make the easiest you can and extend the form. Okay? So, and then you've only got 20 minutes. This stuff doesn't set up in 20 minutes. So you do the best you can. If you're even taking this off, you get the real stuff on it breaks, just keep going. Shape the nail and do it up. So the very first thing to watch for when you sit down and do this is, did you clean your area? Did you clean your hands? And did you clean this hand? Needs to be sanitized. Okay, so you wipe the sanitizer on their hands, and wipe your hands and wipe their hands. Then go to work. Get this thing filed, smooth, take the rough edges out, get your form on there, get your powder in there, get it put on and start forming up. Wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, wait for it, and then pop it off, shape up like a nail, and put it back and you're done.
You only have to do one nail.
One nail.
How do you seal the kit though, so that
I know.
they think it's new?
It doesn't come sealed.
Oh.
Doesn't come sealed. It's got a cover, so the cover comes on. There's a cover. Leave the cover. Just take the cover off.
It's like a little,
It's like this.
sleeve, like a sleeve, yeah.
So do we have to do
There's
the
really
tip
no way they would
also?
tell if you really got into it unless you
Yeah,
have
you
like
have to
tip
do a
mess
tip,
of.
yeah.
Yeah, you
So
gotta
I
take
don't know
tip.
if
Rip
it's
that out.
included.
I haven't
You don't have
done
to
mine
use
yet
these.
because I'm like.
So there's no
Oh,
form
just
in
a
there.
form. Yeah.
Yeah, there's forms in
There's
there.
forms. I have forms in one of my bags. I don't know if it comes in that.
There's
kit.
forms in here, but you can bring your own forms. They're just checking this stuff.
So you can have your own nail stuff.
Yeah.
But you just have to bring that stupid.
Yep. You take the kit out. You open up the kit. You just get this. I just bought this today at Sally's. Open that up. It goes like this.
See
You're
the
good.
metal?
So like say I could bring my own acrylic stuff from home, but
Gotta
I
be
have
odorless.
to check. It has to be odorless though.
Yeah.
Well, it has to look like the kit's new, so you
Yeah.
can't like
Yeah,
put
well,
other
yeah.
stuff in there.
Yeah. So you just bring other stuff with you can use.
Does it matter which finger you do?
They tell you. I think,
But just the one.
I think it's the middle finger.
Yeah, this is the one
Yeah,
for
the
each
toner.
kid, so.
Now, one thing you want to make sure you use though is primer. So there's a primer bottle in here.
Primer now.
Make sure you use the, yeah,
So you
acid-free
prime.
primer.
Set it up.
Primer. Yeah, you put your tip on before you put your form on there. Put the primer on there, then make your nail.
So they don't care if you use a tip or a form. I think
You have to use the form.
But there's tips in there. But that's.
You don't use
it's-
them.
Yeah, you don't use
Okay, that's what I was
Yeah, just
wondering.
making a form and nail stopper.
Cause I do tips.
So
How
when
long
you,
can the nail be before you like?
Oh, you can go to the edge so you can slide the thing on.
Okay.
Yeah, slide it on there.
When you're doing the blood stuff, do they tell you which finger?
Yeah, index finger of your left hand or your right hand with your right hand cutter. This is index finger. So if you're right-handed cutter, obviously it's your left hand. And that's it. Let me look at my paper here, make sure your kit's clean. Get to use the gloves for shaving, we talked about that. All right, no jewelry. You can't wear jewelry. No watches. No nothing. This says no jewelry. Don't. The jewelry is a no-no.
So like no earrings. Well, can I have like these in or something?
I don't know. It says no jewelry. I think they're talking about stuff you can't disinfect that's on your hand. Like
Probably
rings.
like rings and bracelets and
Like
watches.
Probably necklace too.
So then when they, is that like, you do the nails and then like that's the end of the test, they're not like looking at you anymore, so like when you're cleaning up, they don't care anymore?
Yeah, when they tell you you're done, you think what are you going on? You're done. Keep the storage standards, close the cups, sanitize before you go into it. Don't touch your hair, your nose, step back, sanitize before you touch again.